I was asked about how to model something like this in SketchUp, and I thought it'd be a good exercise to do. So it looks like it's a little side table, and these curvy lines really give an impression of a lot more movement than there really is in this project. It's basically one rectangle over another rectangle, and this is actually a straight piece with just a curve put in it. So I thought it would be a good example to show you how to kind of do that quickly using this image. So here we have the beginning here, and I'm just going to make a rectangle. And I'm going to make it 30 inches by 30 inches. Right now I really don't know the size of that side table, but most tables are 30 inches tall, and I presume this is about the same size. So I'm kind of going that route. I'm not sure if it is a square or not yet. It would be helpful if I had full dimensions. But we'll see what we do. Let's go File, Import. Make sure I select it, and when I do, make sure I input it as a texture. And right now, I'm just going to click and drag like this just to get the image onto the piece. So right now, I'm going to kind of take a look at this image a little bit and kind of imagine where the ends of this image are. So if I draw a line straight down, it would probably intersect with this line over here. Let me just kind of show you real quick what I'm thinking. Like, so this is going to go something like there. And this is going to go something like there. Now again, I'm kind of sketching it onto the piece, but you can kind of see what I'm looking at size-wise. Also straight down. I'm going to try to extend this line over. I'll just draw it from here and just try to stay in that piece. So really, these would be the four corners of a vertical plane, I presume here. Let's look at this a second. I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to go again, try to now that I've got these lines in place, I'm going to start just working with this as a square, I think. Right click, texture position. Right click, take off fixed pin mode. I'm picking up these pins by clicking on them to pick them up, and then moving my cursor where that point is I want to put back down again, and clicking to set it. Now I'll click and drag the pins to position it. So I've got the piece looking something like this. And all I'm going to use now is to try and, I'm getting rid of all these lines here. I'm going to try and just create this piece. So if I do tape measure from here over, looks to me like it's about 4.5, 4.25. How about this one here? I'll go this way, go 4.25. You can see I'm getting this same spot. So I know I'm not too far off from my guess of the size of this. Going up now, and I'm going to try and keep it at 1/4 inch increments, right? So I'm going to zoom up here. Going up, I'm going to say it's maybe 1.5. So that's 1.5, and maybe this is also 1.5. Well, maybe it looks, this looks more like 2. So now we've got a base and we've got a top. So let's go ahead and just do that. Let's just start working my way through this piece. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of erase the innards. So now we have a piece that looks something like this. And this could be about the size of it. I'm not too sure. Looking at this, if I'm looking close by, so let's just kind of zoom up on this a little bit. as I'm looking at the bottom, it looks like maybe, what, half an inch? Half an inch? And this is like a piece of wood that has an arc on it. Going to the top, it's probably another half an inch there. So let's just try that. Again, I'm just shooting to get this thing kind of working off here. So if a half inch at the top and a half inch at the bottom, so these would be the markings of where the arc is going to start and where the arc is going to stop, that kind of stuff. Matter of fact, let's just do one. Just do that front one, which goes from here to here. All right, so we've got that there. This looks like a thinner piece of wood. So I'm gonna then copy this maybe 4 inches this way, and I'll copy this about 4 inches that way. All right, so if I do an arc from here to here, an arc from here to here, you can see right away that looks like it's not, I mean, even though they're 4 inches here and 4 inches here, but just because of the way it's laid out, I'm getting a very wider piece up here. This bottom piece though, this bottom angle doesn't look too far off the mark. But really, I think I'm pretty close to that. So I think I'm gonna draw an arc. I'm gonna offset this arc. Let me try offset this arc. One. All right, let's offset this arc 1.5. And then I'm just going to delete this here. So I'm still playing around with the shape. I don't know if this is going to give me what I need. And then from here to here, I'm just going to draw a line and erase this. So I started with 2 arcs to give me an idea. And now I'm just kind of cleaning up as I go. I do like this kind of shape I'm getting. And I think this may be exactly what I need. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on this and make a component. I have 3 of them. I'm going to call this table leg. So I've got my pieces. Edit, delete guides. Again, I'm just going off as best I can from this image and trying to get as much as I can out of this image here. All right. Okay, so just looking at this, I can see that the thickness is probably, what, 18 inches? So I'm going to do push-pull, 18, right, and see what that's like. No, that's way too deep. Let's try 12. Yeah, that looks about right. That looks about right. And I would say the same thing down here. So I just double-click here. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of clean up these lines here and clean up any lines up there. All right. This piece, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to double click. I'm going to push pull this. I'm doing 0.75. I notice I got this line here. I'll use the eraser tool with control to soften that edge. So there it is. Now looking at this piece again, it's not quite at the edge, is it? It looks like it's the same distance in all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and use the tape measure tool. 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch there. All right, so select it, M for move, click here and go this way, here, click. So I've moved this piece in, tap the control key, and I'm going to go ahead and do a copy over here, and then 2 divide, enter. I did 2 divide to divide this distance in half. Let me see if that works or not. Bingo. See that? Perfect. The difference is that this one has to be flipped. So a right click, flip along the red axis. There we go. And then I'll just move this to here, and then I'll just move it in 1/2 inch. Edit, delete guides. So here it comes. Take a look at this. How's it looking? Well, it looks to me like maybe my arc is too strong. It might have needed to have been shallower. What about the proportion? This looks like longer. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to select this. T for tape measure. Click here and come across, type in 40 inches instead. And as for scale, click here and click this line. Now let's take a look at this. That definitely has softened the curve a little bit, right? Let's look at the picture again. So it's I think that is it. I think this is dimensions. Are these dimensions here? So it looks to me like that's 40. This is 1 foot. What I would possibly do is maybe shallow this up a little bit more. So this, what do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to go to View, Component Edit, Height Similar. So there's a picture arc from here to here. All right, that might be better. So I'll now orbit to the back side and double click on the surface and delete it so I can have a plane again, and then I'll clean up the front. And I'm going to give it less of a, create another arc here. It's still just 2 dimensions here, right? It's just a plane instead of a, so I'm going to pull that 0.75. Let's take a look here. So, oh, much closer to it. I think this is pretty close to the piece itself. Close enough that I think I'm going to call it done. If I had full dimensions of it, it would have been easier to figure out. Then under materials, I'll go ahead and look for wood materials. This could be a good start. And just kind of put it on. Right click, texture position, and right click, fixed pins. I'm going to move that about 90 degrees and get a little tighter. I want to see some wood grain here. You can see I'm starting to see some wood grain here. Right click, done. And then what I'll do for that is under the, once I got that in there, I'm going to go ahead and change this to be maybe more gray. So it's less saturated color. It looks to be a little lot more yellow. So I'm going to drag this more to the yellow range a little bit more. Maybe make it a little lighter. Maybe a little more grayer. That looks about the same coloring, give or take. Once I've got that down, I can just go ahead and select it and then just paint all the surfaces. And then for these, I go ahead and paint this surface, but then I'll go right click, texture position, and I will angle it . Let's see here. So it's kind of that kind of the angle here. If you notice again, I'm just looking at the picture. See how it's got this direction. And I'll just go ahead and texture position. I don't want to change the scale of it. but I do want it to kind of angle a certain way. Edit, delete guides. That is kind of my attempt at creating this kind of shape. I think we're pretty much on the mark here.